I'm going to start because we only have 30 minutes. It lasts for 30 minutes. So I'm going to start so that we get the full amount of time. So welcome to Read with Khadijah, the book Black Sterling. I'm the author of the book. Some of you may know me as the person that beat Hugo Boss in a trademark war. And I have here the where I was featured in the Voice newspaper. Not even Hugo Boss can stop Khadijah. And that was all about me trademarking the name Dark Girl Boss. And Hugo Boss sent me a 9-page threatening letter, their lawyers, to stop me using the name Boss. And I fought them, not in court. I fought them in the media, social media. So all my people, my community came out and supported me. I was featured in the Voice newspaper. I was featured in another newspaper, a national newspaper. I was on the BBC radio show. I've forgotten the brother's name now. I forgot to quote the brother's name. I forgot his name. So I was on his radio show, so national radio show. Yeah, and it was all out there. So, and I beat Hugo Boss in it and they backed down. So that's me and Hugo Boss. But in terms of Black Sterling, I know many of you may know the book, heard of the book, and this is the Black Print to Self-Reliance and Collective Black Wealth. So what I want to do is just every week, just read some of Black Sterling so that you can get more of an understanding. We can have a discussion about it and just help you implement the principles of Black Sterling. But what I want to do though, before I start, I just want to make a tribute to one of our sisters that actually implemented the principles of Black Sterling. And she was tragically taken from us in horrific circumstances about 2 weeks ago. So I'll just read out this beautiful tribute that was written by Sister Angie. And, you know, I resonate with this statement as well. So I'm going to read it out. Sister Shakina, a tribute to her, the loss of a warrior sister like Sister Shakina, who dedicated herself to supporting those returning to Africa and integrating into the community, is a profound grief. Her commitment to Pan-African values and self-awareness, embodying the ancestral culture, is a legacy to uphold. She lived the principles embedded in Black Sterling. Understanding ourselves empowers us to embrace our cultural roots and take pride in our unique greatness. Our culture is not something to forsake in order to belong, but rather a shield to cherish. Let us honor our true identity, for it is irreplaceable. Ashe. And I must say, Sister Shakina went to Gambia in 2017 to live, and she just was, you know, helping all of the diaspora when they came over with land. She was building an estate. So, you know, it's a tragic loss. It's a tragic loss. But when we go to the motherland, we need people like Sister Shakina to, you know, help us transition from Europe to the motherland. We need people over there in the motherland, all parts of the motherland, to be able to show us how we can integrate in the motherland. And that's what she was doing. She was doing it. She was implementing the principles of Black Sterling to the highest level. That's what she was doing. Yeah, she helped so many people, not just the diaspora, people in Gambia. She helped and supported the people in Gambia, gave them jobs and just all other things. You know, she was just it's such a tragic loss to think that someone could to take this beautiful sister away from us, whom we needed so very much. I just have to say it's just so sad, and I have to say rest in power, rise in power. Actually, my beautiful sister Shakina. Start and do what we came here to do, Black Sterling. Let me put my glasses on to read to you. Okay, so here we go. Glasses to read. It comes to us all, doesn't it? Black Sterling, the Black Print to Self-Reliance and Collective Black Wealth. So I dedicated the book to my father and my mother, and my granddaughter and some other people as well. I just want to start by reading the first statement in the book. So the first statement is, if law was passed tomorrow stating, we are no longer housing Black people on our council estates. We are not lending Black people money for mortgages. We are not allowing Black people to shop in our supermarkets. We are not allowing Black people to work on our corporate plantations. How would you survive? So now, see, I wrote that statement, so we're just going to pause for a minute on that. So I wrote that statement at the beginning of the book to make people stop and think and, really understand that we're under control. And if the people that are controlling us took away all the things that we needed, to live, how would we survive? And I want to know, really, and I want you to think about, what would you do if that happened? Because it kind of happened in COVID times. It kind of happened, didn't it, in COVID, when they actually stopped us doing certain things. We could still go to the we couldn't go to work, a lot of us. We had to work from home because they said so. We could go to supermarkets, but we had to go when they said we could go. We had to stand in line 6 feet apart and all the rest of it. So there was a lot of controlling. And this is about when you have someone controlling the things, the fundamentals that you have, that you need to live, they can do anything they like to you. So this is about, the whole book is about, really, to be honest, about finding self-reliance and being independent. So people cannot actually do those things to you. So that was what Black Sterling, and that was what If Law Was Passed Tomorrow stated. That really was what that was about, to make you think about, control and who controls you. So we go on to read the preface, and it says, without commerce and industry, a people perish economically. The Negro is perishing because he has no economic system. Marcus Garvey said that. And I start the book by saying, peace be upon you, beautiful people, and thank you for purchasing my book. May you find it an empowering guide for you to achieve unity amongst yourselves, collective wealth, and liberation from the oppressive, Eurocentric systems that you unfortunately find yourselves in. Is the Black man perishing because he has no economic system? And what is economic self-reliance? I shall explain, but first I would like to illustrate the idea with an example. Imagine this: communities where you are revered, not undermined. Communities with no police harassment and brutality, no gang warfare, no systematic jailing or slaying of your young men. Schools for your children that are built and run by you. Your commerce, housing, workplace, industries, and institutions that you rely upon for your livelihood hold your race in high regard. Communities where wealth is created, shared, and multiplied, and you and yours prosper. That sounds great, right? Well, that's the place. That dream is where Black people as a nation have power and control of the politics of their own people. You function independently of the current mainstream Eurocentric systems. The infrastructures that you rely upon are owned by you, run by you, for you. You are in control of your own lives, your own housing, your own institutions. You are a self-reliant nation with wealth and power within your own communities. Economic self-reliance from a Black perspective is total liberation of the Black nation, meaning that you should control the economy of your community. The economic infrastructures that you rely upon are owned and run by Black people, for Black people, from education systems, housing, industry, corporations and monetary institutions, all independent of the oppressive Eurocentric mainstream infrastructures. Economic self-reliance is power. Self-reliance of the black man is not a new concept. It has been done many times before by your ancestors, pre and post the African Holocaust. Malcolm X, through the Nation of Islam, transformed communities with the Nation of Islam economic blackprint as a guide. He encouraged African Americans to build communities that would stand on their own and quit the mainstream to live clean and disciplined lives and to obtain dignity through self-reliance. Not only did he speak about self-reliance and encourage his people, he took practical steps, and through the unity of his comrades, he succeeded in cleaning up black neighborhoods in the US. They drove out drug dealers, got rid of liquor stores, and developed business and industry for the community. Another positive of self-reliant systems is your children. If they are living in a black, wealthy, productive community where they have pride in who they are and there are prospects for the future, their interactions with police forces would diminish, as would the need to hang on street corners, engage in criminal activities and other destructive behaviors. Imagine a positive. You had economic control, you owned industries and had power over yourselves within the systems that operate through your own communities, and you were not reliant upon the current systems that you live under. Your life would improve considerably, and chances of experiencing racism would dramatically decrease, if not be eliminated altogether. Now, we'll pause for a moment there. So, I ask you to imagine. I ask you to use your imagination, because before something can be put into reality, it has to be imagined. So I ask the reader to imagine if we had all of that self-reliance, what would it look like? What would it feel like? Just imagine it. Imagine it. And when you imagine something and then you start connecting your feelings with the imagination, with the thing that you're thinking about, and you believe that thing to be real, you believe that thing to have happened, you bring things into force. Things will happen where you would take natural steps to put that thing into play. So that's why I ask the reader to imagine what it would be like. And also, you can imagine what it would be like in terms of if you go to the Caribbean or you go to, Africa, the police forces are all the same color as you. So you know that if you're being stopped by police, it's not because you're black, it's because, you've done something wrong. They suspect you of a crime, but they don't suspect you of a crime because of you're black. They don't predetermine that you're a criminal because you're black, because they themselves are black. So it just doesn't happen. Whereas when we're in Europe, we are considered to be criminals, even, before they even have any evidence of anything. Your skin color means to them, in their minds, that you are possibly a criminal. So that's why I ask people to imagine what it would be like if we were in control of ourselves, so we wouldn't have to go through those types of things. Okay, so let's read on. Let's read on. We've still got another 15 minutes. Let's read on. So let's put the glasses back on. Here we go. Introduction. Black people must do for self or suffer the consequences. Elijah Muhammad. Elijah Muhammad's statement is simple yet powerful. He was basically stating that if you black people are not self-reliant but dependent upon the systems of others, you will be subject to an oppressive existence with negative outcomes. The situation of the black man today is evidence that we as a people are not in control of our own community. Neither are we responsible for our economic condition, and as a result, as a nation, you are suffering. As a nation, we do not own property, resources, or institutions. We are dependent upon Eurocentric infrastructures and systems for all of our basic needs, our basic human needs, to include housing, education, jobs, and financial attainment. These systems upon which you and I rely execute oppression, injustice, inequality, indignity, brutality, poverty, and even death for some of you or your loved ones. They oppress you to the limit your social organizations, financial success, and freedom as a nation. Since the days of slavery, your life has been controlled through systems by rich and powerful men that do not look like you. You are their commodities, the source for their wealth. Essentially, you are modern day slaves, which can be, hard to, accept, but, it's fact and there's evidence for that. Your whole life and well-being depends upon these systems which are structured to mold, control, shape, and train the mind and behavior of you and your children to be dependent upon it. The consequences of your dependency upon these structures and systems ultimately leaves you demobilized and poor. It is a structure in which you have no place as a member of such a noble race. That is, descendants of the African people. In the present day, the greatness, glory, and grandeur that is the historic African civilization is lost in the minds of Black people through the abomination of what was once the African Holocaust and its legacy. I am therefore compelled to write this book as I bear witness to the destruction and the decline of our noble nation through purpose-built, Eurocentric, centenary systems. And it is my duty as a member of your noble nation to help make positive change in the minds and actions of my community in order to steer you towards liberation, collective Black wealth, and control of self. This book, Black Sterling, not only deciphers institutionalized systemic racism and oppressive economic systems, but it also proposes solutions to escape from them. It will guide you towards the Black print, the proven path of collective wealth that your people before you have taken to enable power and control of their own existence. There are 7 inspirational and practical action steps that you can implement after reading this book to start working towards a life where you and your brothers and sisters share the fruits of what the power of unity and liberation brings: economic wealth and control of self. Prepare yourself to operate in an alternative system, a Black economic system. In this introduction, I have given you a picture of inspiration on using imagination to attain reality as a start, and we will get back to that. For now, you really need to step out and look at the nasty reality of your systemic oppression, and only when you see it for what it really is will you take the necessary steps required to escape it. Fasten your seatbelts, people. Here we go. So, just to chat a little bit about that, we're going to leave it there, but we're going to talk a little bit about that, where I was talking, saying that as I'm compelled to actually do this, to write this book and help my people. I wrote this book on the beaches of Barbados. It just came to me, and it does. When you're in your environment that you feel comfortable in, ideas come to you, and I wrote this book, and I thought, this is what I want to help liberate my people. I feel that it's my calling. I definitely feel that it's my calling, and I just want people to realize that this is something that's easy to do. And it isn't something that I've just thought up myself. As I said, there's a Black print that came before us. You had Marcus Garvey, you had Malcolm X. It's been done before. This isn't new. But now we have to check, we have to up our game and take the Black print of our ancestors and free ourselves, liberate our minds and liberate ourselves. That's what we have to do. Now, you're not on every week and listen so that we can talk and discuss. It needs to be interactive. It can't just be me talking. I'd like you to ask questions about the book, get more of a feel for a book. We can talk about how we can go forward with nation building as we get deeper into the principles of the book, you will find that you would really enjoy it. There's been some really grand reviews of Black Sterling. So we're going to leave it there for this week, the first week, and hopefully I will see you next week at 6 o'clock. It's only for 30 minutes where we go on to the next one is, let me tell you, next week will be Black a Dirty Word, Hip Hop, A State of Hypnosis, and it goes on. And it goes on, and it goes on. We'll be discussing that next week. So, my people, Black Sterling, I hope to see you next week. Have a wonderful week full of joy and abundance. Ashay. I'm out.